The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supply sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Hello, welcome once again to the West Ham Massive. As I always ask you guys to do, please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this particular matter. One other thing, just a little bit of housekeeping I like to get out of the way. If adult language offends you guys, you might want to sort of go somewhere else and go and watch Songs of Praise or something. I'm me. I might let the odd curse word out. I apologize if it offends anybody, but I'm not going to stop myself from being me. It's as simple as that. So if it's not something that's your cup of tea, disappear. If you're still watching this, then I guess you really don't give a shit if I say words like fuck and bollocks. So there you go. Right. I've got a guest sitting in the green room. He's actually about to make his West Ham Massive debut. He used to join me on occasions when I inhabited another YouTube channel that's out there. And I'll bring him in now. It's Mr. Charlie Woodgate. How are you, sir?
All good, all good. I'd rather we won today, that's for sure. But other than that, other than being in that ground freezing my bollocks off watching that shit for 90 minutes, it's been a good Sunday.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Right. I'm going to explore a little theory that we did. My brother and I, Ben, did the review, of the Palace game, and Ben came up with a very interesting theory that I hadn't given any thought to, which I'm gonna play now. What was your thoughts when you saw it?
Very, we've got a fairly stable 11, it would seem, Rob. I mean, obviously Zouma wasn't around. I wasn't sure what that was about. I hadn't really heard much in the way of his injury. Presumably he was injured, but the fact that he was
apparently it was some family issue. That's the story that I've heard anyway.
We'll see. I did have a bit of a theory, and I didn't know if this could be. I could be totally barking up the wrong tree here. Do you know what I thought when I see the rainbow captain's armband? I thought that might not go down with him because I think he's Muslim, isn't he?
He is.
So he might, and I'd respect him for it if I'm honest, mate. I reckon this is just a random little theory I've got that he said, no, fuck it, I don't want to wear that. And West Ham said, in that case, too much aggro. Bear in mind, you've booted a cat. Too much aggro. Sit this one out. I think that could be. I could be totally wrong, but that was just a little theory that went through my head.
So that's Ben's theory on the reason for the omission of Kurt Zouma from not just the starting 11, but the entire match day squad. It was obviously put out, so I was led to believe, as a family matter. Ben's made a bit of an interesting theory there, Charlie. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, like yourself, I hadn't given it a second thought. I was obviously in the ground or walking up to the ground or whatever when teams were released out before kickoff, and then 10, 15, 20 minutes, or it may have been half time, something like that. I saw Sean Weston's tweet to say Zouma's admitted not ill, not injured, just a personal matter. Those things happen. Just didn't have any second thought to it, and then obviously watched your video earlier with Ben. As you say, it's a theory. It's could be putting 2 and 2 together and making 5, or it could be putting 2 and 2 together and making 4. But it's certainly an interesting question.
I mean, I don't think it's out of line to suggest that someone with a religious belief, whether it's Islam specifically or whether it's another religion, and let's be fair, there's plenty of religions that would probably have a bit of a difficulty in reconciling someone of a faith, whether it's, you know, Islam, Catholicism, Judaism, whatever, might have a particular problem reconciling it with their religious beliefs, wearing a rainbow laces armband as a club captain. Now, I think it's entirely plausible that you know, Ben's theory could actually be something. And I guess that the only way we're really going to know, Charlie, is if the next time, because this rainbow laces it was a 5-day thing between the 2nd and the 7th of December, according to the Premier League website. I checked earlier. Now, the only way we're really going to know is if Kurt Zouma isn't available for the Tottenham game, because the Tottenham game is on the 7th, which is the day that this campaign ends. If Kurt Zouma isn't in the squad for the Tottenham game, it maybe gives a little bit more credence to Ben's theory, I would suggest.
Yeah, we was discussing it earlier, wasn't we? And obviously we were saying about if Kurt Zuma's around next year and he's this time next year and he's captain, well, and suddenly there's a personal matter again. We'll certainly know at that point that there's possibly a bit more credence to the theory. I do wonder whether that Tottenham game being on the last day, it will kind of just go brushed under the carpet. No one will mention it, and we won't have any sort of rainbow laces on display on Thursday. Or maybe there's discussions between the club and the Premier League to say, look, can we just pretend we've done the rainbow laces at the weekend? Can we just not do it for this game because it's going to cause a shit show? I do wonder if those conversations will happen behind the scenes, and actually on Thursday, Zouma will be back in the squad and he'll just be wearing a normal armband. That's kind of what I expect to happen if this was the reason for it anyway.
Yeah, again, it's important to stress that this is purely a theory at this point. We're not making any accusations. However, what we will say is that, what I will say is that it's certainly plausible, because, as I say, I think it's a fairly well established fact that in the faith of Islam, homosexuality is just seen as a complete no. It's something that's very much frowned upon. And would I think it's out of line to say that there's a possibility that a Muslim captain of a Premier League team handed a rainbow laces armband could well turn around and say, I am very sorry, but I am not wearing that. And if that captain, and let's just now specifically home in on Kurt Zouma himself just for a moment. If that captain 12 months earlier was courting controversy for booting his cat across a kitchen, could you imagine the shitstorm that would unfold if that, you know, if it came out that Kurt Zouma has said, I'm not wearing that, coming 12 months after that?
Yeah, I think if it was any other club, and I think it was any other player in the same situation, there would be a bit of, it probably would be made a story in the headlines, bit of a PR disaster, but it'd be a PR disaster on steroids for new West Ham captain Kurt Zouma. There was a reason, 3 or 4 months ago, that there was no announcement or anything about Kurt Zouma becoming captain. It was kind of just done on the hush-hush. There was a reason for that. So, yeah, could you imagine the absolute press shitstorm if it had come out that cat kicker Kurt Zouma, and people don't forget that stuff.
No.
As I say, I mentioned Sean's tweet earlier saying it was a personal matter. First thing on there is about is his cat dead or something like that. The first comment is about it, so people don't forget. And certainly people that don't want to forget, like it I obviously haven't forgotten. I don't think many people have forgot, but it doesn't come into my mind when I see Kurt Zouma's name anymore. I just got past it. But
No.
people who don't want to forget will never forget. And yeah, I if this was to be the case and it was the reason, I think the club have probably done the right thing. The question is, if it happens again in a year's time, how do you navigate that one? You can push your problem down the road a year, but maybe he's injured this time next year or something like that. But yeah, I don't think there's much the club could have done. I think the club if the club start forcing people to wear it, which obviously can't physically do that. They go about public statements and fines and all that sort of stuff. Again, I don't think they can really do that.
No.
And all it does from the club side of things, if it does come out and it's in the public, is it just creates a massive PR disaster for the club. So, as you say, it's a theory, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that someone's handed or someone's said we're going to be wearing this the weekend or whatever, and he said no, and instead of just creating a big shitstorm because whatever other way they dealt with, if James Ward-Prowse comes out or Tom Soucek comes out wearing the armband for this game and Kurt Zouma's in the team, someone's going to notice and that's going to become a big story. If the club come out and say Kurt Zouma's not playing today because he won't wear the armband, massive story. The only way it's not a massive story is how it's been done at the moment. Personal matter.
Yeah.
But as you say, what happens in a year's time, or what happens on Thursday?
And it is a personal matter, isn't it? You know, if his religious beliefs don't allow him,
not lied.
Yeah,
No one's lied.
exactly. It is a personal matter. It's his personal religious beliefs, and whether I believe in his religion or not, whether I believe in his stance is right or wrong, that's irrelevant. If that's his viewpoint, you know, there it is. Is it any different though? And this is literally just a thought that's popped into my head. Is it fundamentally any different to, I think, is it James McLean who used to refuse to wear the poppy around the time of Remembrance Sunday? He would just flat refuse, I'm not wearing a poppy. So is it fundamentally any different for someone with like the Catholic, sort of like the Irish Catholic sort of background of James McLean just saying, I'm not wearing the poppy because I fundamentally disagree with what it represents, and a captain of a Premier League team refusing on religious grounds to wear an armband like the Rainbow Laces one?
Fundamentally, probably not. It's probably the difference is obviously it's religion versus nationality. I guess in James McLean's instance, is it religion? It's
possibly a little bit.
Yeah, fundamentally, I think it's probably the same. I can't remember. I don't think anything was done about James McLean, was it? It wasn't as if he was fined or banned or anything like that. It was a personal decision, as it was with all the, I was going to say nonsense, but maybe that's not how you want to phrase it. But with all the Black Lives Matter stuff and taking the knee and all that stuff, it was all personal choices. And some players didn't do it. Some players did do it. I don't know. It fundamentally, no, I don't think it is any different. Does that mean it wouldn't be an absolute media storm? No, I don't think it. I think it absolutely would be.
Yeah, as I say, I'd be very interested to see on Thursday if Kurt is in the squad. If he is, does he wear a Rainbow Laces armband? And if he's not, then I'd be very interested if he is still a Premier League captain, specifically our Premier League captain, 12 months down the track, when I presume they would do the next campaign, whether there's again a personal matter that interferes with Kurt taking part in a West Ham United squad.
Yeah, well, I do wonder whether all these campaigns will start to fade out. I don't know. The FA have obviously taken a stance recently.
Yeah.
That they're not going to show any solidarity with any campaign, basically. Going forward, they're not going to light up Wembley's Arch was the big headline about it, wasn't it? Whether the Premier League start to take that on, I'd quite like the idea of that. Whether I agree with the campaign or not, I don't watch football for that sort of thing.
No.
Maybe the Premier League start doing that, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out in good time. I'll be at Tottenham's horrible stadium. Best stadium in the league, unfortunately.
I know.
But it's annoying, isn't it? I'll be there on Thursday night, so I'll keep my eyes out for old Cat Kicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if he turns up in his normal armband, or I think he'll play, and I think it will all get swept under the carpet as we done it the weekend. Let's leave it.
Okay, we'll wait and see. Obviously, on Thursday when that unfolds. But yeah, it's an interesting theory, and as I say, it wasn't one that I'd even considered before Ben mentioned it on the preview, the review, and now I'm starting to think, ooh, do you know what? Maybe.
Yeah, I wonder.
But we'll see.
I wonder if any sort of mainstream journalists would have the same thought, or any of the big accounts connected to West Ham have the same thought over the next couple of days and ask that question.
Well, if they do, maybe they watched the West Ham Massive, Charlie.
Exactly. Maybe someone will take it and go and ask the question, or maybe the club just don't want to answer the question. That's probably more likely.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I guess we'll see next year.
We will indeed. And Charlie, I'd like to thank you very much for making your debut. It was a little bit of a last-minute call. I just had the idea of doing this video, and I thought, I'll tell you what, let's see if Charlie wants to hop on with this one.
Don't mind a last-minute call.
Absolutely. Anyway, guys, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon for alerts of new content. Don't forget to click all. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this particular matter. We're going to disappear. We're just going to say, come on, you Irons, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive, everywhere we go.